a second.
Okay.
And try to get.
Oh, he is here.
Try to get.
Should I not be?
No, yes.
You gotta go. No, you can't be here.
Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Hello there. How are you?
All right, let's go ahead and get this meeting going. I'd like to welcome everybody to the City of Lacey's Human Services Commission for Thursday, March 5th. The official time of start is 5:30 p.m. First, what we're going to do is take roll of everybody present. We do have some excused members tonight. Angelina Goldwell and Lester Dixon won't be here. If I call your name, please let us know that you're present. Dahlia Martinez.
Here.
Okay, and Dahlia will be on Zoom tonight remotely. John Grausom here. Tiffany Walker,
Here.
Jennifer Zhang.
Here.
Nancy Dila,
Here.
and my name is Brandon and I am here, Brandon Stevens. We always start the meeting with our land acknowledgement. We, the City of Lacey, are on the ancestral land of the tribal people of the Treaty of Medicine Creek, including the Nisqually Indian Tribe and the Squaxin Island Tribe. We acknowledge and remember those tribal people not recognized today who were absorbed or relocated into other tribes for survival. We recognize the ancestors and their descendants who are still here. We recognize and respect the tribal people of the Treaty of Medicine Creek as the traditional stewards of this land since time immemorial, and their role today in taking care of these lands in perpetuity. We recognize and have the responsibility to call to attention to the histories of dispossession, forced removal, and abridged treaty rights that allowed our nation, state, and city to develop as they have today. We recommend that the community members read the Medicine Creek Treaty of 1854. And also yesterday was Billy Frank Jr. Day. Yeah, so we should go, definitely go read about Billy Frank Jr. Our first agenda item tonight is our election of officers. And we will move on to that portion if everybody's ready to do that now. Perfect.
Could we just maybe
Sure.
pause for a second? I just want to see if the audio is working okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner, Martinez, can you, say something for us?
Me?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Really
I
low.
did hear, but
It's like it's a computer noise, not her voice.
I should be going through the system, but Michelle, can you check on the right-hand corner there, see if our audio is up all the way here? Or here, let's try there first.
Yep.
It's up all the way, okay, then can you go to audio? Just check our speaker. Oops. Let's test, speakers go to sharp, that's what it should be. Let's try
That was
that.
the one right below it, I think.
That one should be, it was, same as system, so,
Dahlia, can you check in for us one more time?
Yes, I'm here.
Got you. You did say you were present, right?
Yes, I did.
Good, okay, I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and now do the election of our officers, and the first order of business is chair, and I'd like to open up the floor for nominations. I would like to open up that and see if anybody would like to nominate a chair tonight.
I nominate Brandon Stevens.
And I second that motion.
Thanks, and I guess I will consent to the nomination. Are there anybody else that would like to be nominated? Anybody? Okay, great. If there's no other objections, nominations for chair are now closed. Okay, so all those in favor?
No.
Yes, it's been moved and seconded.
Take a motion, this is a motion for election, not a nomination.
Got you, thank you, sir. Okay, is there a motion and a second to elect the Commissioner Brandon Stevens as chair?
Yes.
Second.
Second. Okay. Moved and seconded. Okay, so now we'll move into the yays and nays, and all those in favor of Commissioner Brandon Stevens being elected as chair, say yay.
Yay.
Thanks. All those opposed of Commissioner Brandon Stevens being elected to chair, say nay. Okay, if there are no objections, we will show that Commissioner Brandon Stevens is elected chair. Great, and now we're gonna open
Can
up.
we clap?
No.
Congratulations, Chair.
I am here for 4 years, thanks. I would like to open up the nominations for vice chair. Do we have anybody that we would like to consent to nominate for vice chair?
I would like to nominate Angelina Goldwell, excuse me, I apologize, to continue on as vice chair.
I second that.
All right, if there,
Second it? That's okay.
are there any other nominations? Nope. All right, if there are no objections, nominations for the vice chair are now closed. Is there a motion and a second to now elect Commissioner Angelina Goldwell as the vice chair?
I make a motion to select Angelina Goldwell to be vice chair.
I second that.
Great, that motion's been moved and seconded. Next, we will hold a vote for our vice chair. All those in favor of Commissioner Angelina Goldwell being elected vice chair, say yay.
Yay.
All those opposed of Commissioner Angelina Goldwell being elected vice chair, say nay. So there is no objection, and we will show that Commissioner Angelina Goldwell has been reelected as our vice chair. And we're just so happy about that. She's fantastic. All right, our next item of business is going to be an approval of agenda, previous meeting minutes, and consent items. I move to approve the agenda of March 5th and the meeting minutes of February 5th, 2026.
And I'll second that motion.
Great. Would anybody like to provide any comment on that?
I would.
Thank you.
I would like to say thank you for the presentation that the lady from the United Way gave. It was very powerful and very well spoken, you could tell she comes with a lot of education and understanding. For me, it was transformational. Just, you know what I'd never grabbed onto is the whole thing about we have to really be looking at preschool and not first through fifth. And you know, when you start thinking about stuff like that, it's huge. So for me, it was very, very informational and transformational. So thank you. For what it's worth.
I do believe
Crystal's
I heard
great.
the
Yeah.
United Way
There.
Harrison County is closing.
There,
Well,
What's closing?
United Way, after 90 years of service.
so with that, thank you, Nancy. We'll maybe come back to that. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Yay, aye.
Yay.
All those opposed? Great, so the meeting minutes, agenda and consent items have been approved. Public comment. Did anybody sign up tonight for public comment? No? Shocker. All right.
Maybe one day.
I think we do have a moment in time where that does happen. It's just not usually our regular meetings. So if not, but would anybody else like to provide any other public comment tonight? I don't know, is that strictly for people signed up or? No, okay.
Yeah, you all can provide comments throughout the meeting.
Yeah, so I feel like we'll just go ahead and move on to our business items and handle that. Over to Michelle Chavez for a human services grant update, our human services coordinator, Michelle Chavez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to share the screen with the presentation, brief presentation. Dahlia, can you see the presentation?
Yes, I can see the presentation.
Great. So in your in your packet tonight, you have a staff report on the Human Services Grant Program. As you know, we had again, 300,000 allocated for the 2026 year in the budget for the city of Lacey. And the purpose of this staff report is to discuss the Human Services Grant Program policy and rubric and any kind of potential updates we may want to do to the program. Because anything that we do change about the program, we'll need to bring it to the city council for final approval. And so everything that we do would be a recommendation. Everything that you recommend would be a recommendation. So there's 3 different alternatives, no change, leave the program exactly as it is. Select an option other than number 3. So my recommended option is to approve option 3. And we'll get to this. There's a table in there with 5 different options that you can choose from. Option 3 is not to have an administrative cap, to keep the maximum award at 30,000. No minimum ask, which that's just the same, we've always had it, so there's no minimum. And then to add points for direct service to participants in Lacey. So you have a list of all the times that we've talked about this before. And then there was a link to the Human Services Grant Program policy, which we adopted last year. And just to refresh, I'm just gonna go through a few slides of where we're at. So again, the 2025 priorities were around 3 buckets, which were housing, survival, and security. And these essential social services are to be for low income and special needs populations. So you can see there's a wide range of different programs and projects that could be funded. The policy currently sits at a maximum grant for service and capital at 50,000. There's no minimum award. We allow 1 application per agency. Only nonprofits are eligible, and the total award that we have to spend again is 300,000 in the budget. So these are some draft priorities. We're going through the process of writing the strategic plan right now and finishing up our community outreach and engagement around that. So the things that are kind of bubbling up in terms of themes throughout the process has been prevention is something that we've heard on a regular basis about homelessness and housing being the top priority. Homelessness prevention such as emergency rental, fair housing education, creating and maintaining supportive housing services that prevent homelessness. Youth services is another item that has been a prioritizer. We've heard from the community that we need more youth programs and projects, including childcare in the community. And then behavioral health services, so that would be mental health, physical health care, including substance use disorder or folks that are having life stressors or chronic disease. So there's the chart in your packet, which has some different options. It's table number 1. And if you look at it, there's different options that we can talk about, but we talked in the past, so we've kind of been evolving as we've had conversations at each meeting, talking about, do we want to have an administrative cap on the grants? That was a concern that was expressed from some of our commissioners in the past. So in your options, you have a range of administrative caps from 20% on option 1, 15% on option 2, option 3, which I'm recommending is no cap. No cap. Narrowed focus on priority areas, so that would be, again, bringing what's kind of more of a larger umbrella into a little bit narrower focus. Possible change to the maximum grant award. When I looked at all of the different awards we've done over the last 2 years, the maximum we've awarded is right around 30,000. So there's a possibility we could look at maybe having that be the maximum. There's an option to have a minimum grant, additional focus on Lacey residents, and then we talked about having the presentation section over 2 meetings in the summer because it became a very lengthy meeting and it's really difficult for folks to follow along, and just as fairness to everybody, making sure that everybody gets the same kind of attention when they present. I have also attached in the packet the rubric with some options to change the rubric a little bit, because I know we've struggled with trying to make that a more user-friendly tool. And so we could put more weight in the rubric on Lacey residents. We could focus the priority areas to more of those 3 bucket narrower areas. We could put less weight on eligibility or less weight on program delivery, which is, again, it's all on the table.
Isn't one of the requirements that they have to serve Lacey residents?
Yes.
Okay.
It's,
Yes, but go ahead, Tiffany. No, I was just gonna piggyback off that, Nancy. Yeah, it is a stipulation, but it doesn't have to be solely Lacey. And so I think that this is just saying, if I'm not mistaken,
Well, no, they do have to, the provider, even if they're not in Lacey, they have to serve clients that reside in the Lacey area to be able to be qualified for this grant. So it does, the providers do have to serve Lacey residents.
So why
Just
would
to
we
clarify.
give them
Yeah, maybe
points?
just a distinction though, the language reads, they must demonstrate how programs and projects would positively benefit community members of Lacey.
Yeah.
So I think maybe just as a distinction, it's not, it has to exclusively, but you do have to show how you positively benefit.
Okay.
and then in the policy, we also require capital projects to be in Lacey.
Mhm.
So if you're providing a service or a program, your agency could be in Olympia.
Yeah.
Providing a benefit to Lacey residents, but if you wanted to build something physical and use this grant, it would have to be located in Lacey.
So I just wanted to bring in a comment. Right now, for us here in Thurston County, we only have 1 youth provider really, which is CYS, and they operate out of Olympia. Not sure how much of their services are in Lacey. And we have our ARC, which provides services to youth that are homeless. So just keeping that into consideration. I think that adding the childcare in there would be great. Which would be, especially with given the fact that the state of Washington is trying to cut like a whole bunch of money to childcare subsidies.
yeah, and Tiffany, if I might add, one of the main things in some of the presentations that I've sat in with Michelle, prevention has been a big part of it. And, when people don't have childcare, they can't go to work, then it just kind of spirals from there. So I agree 100% that would be, even though it doesn't seem like it fits entirely into the rubric, I think that it's important that it has a place.
Yeah, absolutely. That was kind of what I was getting to, especially when we were talking about like bricks and mortar capital projects, making like focusing in on that and trying to help support families that are struggling with getting, more childcare in City of Lacey. At least that's something that I was thinking.
Did we, um, receive, there was a survey out, right?
There was an electronic survey where we have the results, and I did present to the commission one time so far, which I did attach the results of that survey, and I did present, and then that will be part of this strategic plan appendix
Okay.
with all of the results from that survey.
In regards to behavioral health, are we looking at maybe providing grants to providers like that are individual providers? Instead of nonprofits, to provide additional services to Lacey residents or mental health and substance use? Have we thought about that?
Right now, the way the policy is set up is it's only available to nonprofit agencies.
I'm just looking at the rubric and wondering what you guys think about, section 1.9. Does anybody have any comments on that? Being that specific about it?
I think we talked about that in one of our past meetings where we talked about adding a little bit more context to that
Mhm.
question. Am I right or wrong?
We definitely wanted to.
That's what I thought.
I
I
just
still remember
wonder-
what it was.
And that's, I think,
What
one
are
of the
you
things
asking
that,
about, Brandon?
On the scoring rubric, Nancy, section
1.9.
1.9.
It's right here. This is the question about.
Oh.
Lacey.
There's some red text in there that I'm just asking about, Shannon.
I was just gonna say, I think that's, one of the things Michelle's kind of focusing on of like, hey, from the feedback she's heard so far in this process, creating that list. And I think too, Michelle, one of the things we chatted about of when we look at the past awardees, would this have impacted any of the awardees? Can you
That's what-
talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so when I look at these three kind of narrowed focus areas, I don't think it would omit anybody from the application process or make them less eligible. Because our previous grantees have all provided these kind of services. But it just allows us to have kind of more of a theme, a narrowed approach, and it might help with doing some of the prioritization.
So like, for instance, Grub, where would they fall in this? Like, would that be creating and maintaining supportive housing services that prevent homelessness? Or,
Mental and physical health care.
They do have youth services.
Yeah.
okay, I'm just,
And the physical health care falls in place with nutrition.
Right.
About it.
Whether it's kids or elderly, I mean,
So Michelle, just to clarify, you were asking us, do we like adding those three sections? I mean, three tidbits about housing, homeless prevention, youth services, behavioral health into section 1.9 in the rubrics. Is that what you're asking?
Right, so it's just a draft.
Gotcha.
It's just a draft. And one of the things is I put in red
Mhm.
some different, maybe putting more weight on the number of Lacey residents served and then changing this from just basic needs to more narrowed focus.
Mhm.
I like that. I
Me too.
especially like that you ask specifically, how many participants do you provide services to in Lacey?
Mhm.
Or, so I like that, because then that gives us a better idea who's actually serving Lacey community.
Yeah, well, it's just changing the weight of it a little bit more, which I think is especially now because the funds are so limited and everybody needs the funds. We have to make sure that we're getting them to the people in Lacey. That's what we're here to get them to, even though we wish we could give them to everybody.
I don't have any objections to your changes to the rubrics. I actually like that you give them a little bit more weight and that you deducted those points from sections 3. So that we're not adding more to give them more points. We're just still keeping it at the same number of points that they can earn.
Dahlia, do you have any feedback on the rubric?
No, I actually like that we're actually weighing in more on specifically Lacey, like he was saying, it would be nice to help other areas, but obviously we're kind of looking for Lacey specifically. So I do like that. And I'm sure other counties have other stuff for their, you know, for like Olympia and stuff like that. So I like that we're really just focusing on Lacey specifically.
Yeah, we do have to prioritize that. John, did you have any questions about how all this works since you're our newest member of the commission and kind of what we're looking at here, or?
Right. Well, my goal for this meeting was to do a lot of listening.
Yeah, that's smart. It's a good.
I don't disagree with anything I've heard.
Um, yeah, I don't know if I have any other questions, Michelle. I did think that we were gonna have a little bit more time to discuss the rubric personally, but I'm certainly okay with it.
Is it okay for us to approve these changes the way they are and maybe talk more about the points and critiquing it a little bit more later on, or do we need to adopt this to as of today?
I think we have some time, so.
And not to, I know Angelina's not here, but she does always have really
He does have
valuable
good,
feedback.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think in April, we want to finalize everything, but it looks like we have time to discuss it.
Shannon, what do we have?
Well, I'm looking at, Michelle's put together a really great table too in the packet too, so if you wanna take a look at that, and one of the things that she's highlighted here is, hey, you're looking at this in March and then finalizing recommendations for the strategic plan at your next meeting. And to me, it seems like there would be an opportunity as well for you all, if you wanna come back and talk at that meeting
Okay.
about this again, and then make your motion and recommendation to the city council. That would give us time to get it in front of the city council sometime in April or early May. It may push back the application period opening by a week or two. But I think that's something that Michelle and I can certainly work around. Michelle, anything you'd add to that?
No, I agree.
So we basically took 10 points from section 3.1
Mhm,
and 3.3.
mhm. 5 points from each. But I do agree, I would like to get Angelina's input, and so if we could postpone a vote on this, I would like to request a motion to do that.
No motion's necessary. We
Okay.
can just come
Yeah.
back with.
I do agree.
And I just wanted to, could I make a comment about, the-
Great.
could I make a comment again about the grant program chart 1 through 5 and why I recommended number 3?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Part of the reason why is because of the challenges that nonprofits are facing right now and the climate in the community for them. I think putting more restrictions on how we fund them, and this is one of the less restrictive funding that they have. And so when they are getting budget cuts from other sources, we are feeling, I feel like, an important kind of safety net for them. So I didn't recommend changing it or adding a cap at this time. That's the reasoning behind that. And then the award, we did recommend last year to have the awards limited, and then the city council, upped it to
Yep.
50, which they have the total, that is their prerogative to do. But I just, again, our average award is right around 30, so I thought, why not just keep it at that?
I do like the option 3 too. And the fact of adding the additional points for direct service participants.
And I'm not recommending any changes to the policy with the capital and the service.
Mhm.
Because again, the capital funding from other funding sources is very restrictive. And there's things that you cannot pay for with, say, federal dollars that you can utilize this program to pay for. And so again, we're feeling kind of
We're getting some
missing-
of the bureaucracy and
a
the red tape
missing-
of it, for
right.
sure.
giving folks in the community a chance to have another option to fund maybe something that they wouldn't be able to fund with a different pot of money.
I wanna be, frankly, I wanna be honest about my position on this. As far as admin goes, I would defer to people that have more experience than this, and cause I really know that it does take people to run programs. Even though it does, always sounds a little bit like you're wasting money when you're not giving it directly to the people, but without the people that run them, I don't know if we get those services out, so, but people here have way more experience working directly with some of these services than me, so I wouldn't have much, comment on that at all, I'll be honest. Sounds like everybody kind of agrees on that, so.
I have one more question.
Sure.
So just to clarify, the changes that you made to the rubrics in section 1(9), you're gonna solely, as a Human Services Commission, focus on providers who, and we're asking for providers who are only solely focusing on homeless prevention, youth services, and behavioral health to apply, versus us getting a whole slew of different nonprofits with different requests. We're focusing on this. Oh, I love that. Okay. I
Are
love
they
that.
still able to apply?
So I think there'd be a screening process, right? And I'll just use a really kind of use an absurd example, right? If I had a nonprofit that taught people to golf, that would not qualify.
Right.
If I had a nonprofit maybe that focused on youth education in golf, maybe that would qualify.
Okay.
So Michelle will be able to do the first round and determine
Nice.
Okay.
what moves forward and what wouldn't.
I think that's great that you're spelling it out for people now.
And folks will call me ahead of time and say, hey, I got an idea. Is it worth applying? And sometimes I'll be like, it doesn't fit. And then sometimes I'm like, yeah, you should.
Mhm.
Or sometimes they're already partnering with an agency that we already have funded in the past. I'd say, hey, rather than two separate applications, maybe you want to partner
There
with
you
that
go.
person, that agency, excuse me.
That makes more sense. This whole thing makes more sense now. Thank you.
So we can come back again in April and review the rubric again with Angelina, make sure she gets to weigh in.
Yeah, just,
And Lester too, he can weigh in as well.
yeah, he gives good input as well.
And I can update, again, the presentation. Kind of what we talked about tonight and bring it to the whole commission in April.
I think it would be amazing to watch somebody apply for the grant for a capital project, to build like something and just to see it blossom over time
Yeah.
with the funding that they receive from us. I just wish somebody would apply for it. I'm not gonna do it, but I'm just saying.
And that was all, that concludes my presentation on that one. If nobody else has any questions.
I don't think so. So right now we're just not, because I think, we were gonna move to recommend that stuff. Is what I have on the agenda. We'll just, wanna do that tonight? Okay. Are these separate, like the awards and then the rubric scoring, those are separate? Are those the same?
I think that Brendan's asking, do you guys want us to, we could maybe break it up since we
Yeah,
agree that
We do agree,
on option 3?
yes.
And then can we have a motion to maybe like delay the other part?
The rubric,
The rubric?
Yeah. Would you be okay with that or opposed to that?
or would that be more?
You certainly could. However, I think what I heard from you all is getting feedback from some of your other
Yeah.
commissioners as well. And so probably the easiest process would just be to wait and do it all at the next meeting.
Okay.
But it's certainly at your discretion if you wanted to make a recommendation on one portion.
I think they should be allowed the opportunity as well if we have time.
And again, correct me if this is, not a great question, but when the staff recommends portion, is that you and Michelle? Pretty much?
Michelle, do you want to answer that question?
Yes, it's a combination of, it's kind of like I'm looking at what I've seen as every time we've talked about this and how it's evolved over the years. And then also taking into consideration the community feedback that we're hearing. And then Shannon is, obviously weighs in on it too.
Okay, and that's, yes, no, and I just wanted to confirm that. That's what I
You can
suspected.
always say something, you can always say, I don't agree.
And we're okay with that too.
I would say, I'm sure there's some people in here that would say that too. I guess my question is, next meeting, if we do make some changes, are we able to like finalize those here, or do we have to come back in? Okay, cause I doubt it will be anything substantial, but I do just feel like, we did anticipate some more conversation on that personally, so. And then Angelina and Lester aren't here, so. Is everybody okay with that?
Agreed.
Dahlia?
Yes, agreed.
We've been missing you, Dahlia.
I know you guys finally get to see my face. I know it's been a bit. I'm still here.
Yep. We appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, well then we will move that that to our next meeting in March, or sorry, April.
Mhm.
And we'll finalize the staff recommendations for the policy and the rubric.
Michelle, will you send an email to all of us in our city email and ask, we just all come back prepared and reviewed these things so that we can make sure that we can move on to other important items?
Yes.
Thank you.
And these are, this is a really great start. Thanks, Michelle and Shannon, for taking what we've said already, and then also on behalf of the community, putting in like all that work, listening to all our stakeholders in the community and putting this all together for us, because I know you had several times during the last few months where you had people come in from all different types of organizations and listen to them, and to put all that together it helps us a lot. That was kind of what we were missing, I feel like, was some direction, right? Okay. I think,
The work plan.
oh yeah, there it is. All right, and then, so yeah, back over to Michelle for the Human Services Commission 2026 work plan.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. This one I don't have a presentation for, but you do have it in your packet. And the staff report just talks about, we are required to do a work plan each year. And so this is our kind of inaugural kickoff, talking about what we have on our plate this year. And again, there's two budget impacts, the $300,000 from the grant program, and then there's the 348 from CDBG. Now that could change because it's based on congressional appropriation. So, but it usually doesn't fluctuate an extreme, we kind of have our kind of formulated amount. So I expected that to be radically different than 2025. The work plan is really basic. It has, I think, 6 goal items on it. The first goal is, again, the strategic plan, helping us identify our funding priorities. And that would be tentative completion date of spring and summer. So in April, I'll bring back the rubric and the policy as well as the strategic plan draft. So I'm working on that right now. We have some additional outreach and engagement to do with the community before, we can finalize writing that. But it's coming together with appendix and reviewing data and getting kind of a background to present to you all first before it goes to city council, using the templates of other city reports that have been done. And then the goal number 2 is to assist in the allocation of 300,000 for the Human Services Grant Program, which you all are very familiar with. John, you'll get to be familiar with this as well. That involves, again, spring and summer, having these applications come in and review. And then we would have the tentative completion date would be June. Hopefully splitting the applicant presentations into 2 meetings in June. I was looking at June 4th and June 11th, which are Thursdays. And the reason being is I didn't want to do the meeting on the 11th and then the 12th, because the 12th is a Friday. And a lot of people like go out of town on the weekends in the summer. And so this isn't final. We can talk about this. If that definitely doesn't work for people, we can adjust. This is just a draft and it's tentative. Things change. The outcome is we want to use those presentations to score the applications and then finalize the process so that we can make a recommendation to city council and have all of that done in July. Again, so that we could start the program year in August. So we're hopefully gonna stay on track and try to keep our program predictable so that the agencies who do apply can start to expect, okay, Lacey does their thing in end of the summer. The goal number 3 is the CDBG annual action plan. So again, you reviewed 2 plans, consolidated plan, which is a modified 3-year plan, which typically is a 5-year plan, but we did a 3-year plan because we were spinning off from the county. And so we did a shorter plan. So that's done, that's good until 2027, but we have to do each year a plan of how we wanna spend the CDBG money and then get that approved. And we have to go through public comment, get that approved from HUD.
Mhm.
So it's likely that that will come to you again in January of 2027 for approval. And it won't be radically different because we have the plan already written out for the 3 years, so it'll probably be, you know, capital project based with a little bit of admin set aside for managing the program. Goal number 4 is utility relief. The city leadership has asked us to look at the different utility relief programs we have and do kind of a scan. I did a scan of other communities across Washington to see what their discount programs are and how we could maybe tweak ours to be utilized more. I don't know, Shannon, if you want to comment on the
I think
background.
yeah, just add a little bit of, one of the things the council asked us to do last year as part of the plan for kind of like fiscal sustainability was to look at like additional revenue sources. And through that conversation, we started to review 9 select kind of potential revenue sources that the city wanted to consider. And one of them was looking at our utility taxes. And through that discussion, one of the questions that came up from the council was, how are our relief programs utilized right now? What do they look like and how do they compare to other jurisdictions around Washington state? And so through that conversation, they moved forward with a cable utility tax. So anybody who has cable television will now be having a 6% tax applied to Comcast. This is pretty common with jurisdictions across Washington state. At the same time, the council said, you know, as we've looked at this, we also want to know more about our utility relief programs for our utilities. And so that's where we've been tasked with taking a look at this in the next year.
So question, does City of Lacey have one?
Correct,
Oh, for their water?
correct.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, they didn't give me none with my water line.
Well, and I think that's one of the things we'll look
I'm
at
just
is,
messing with you.
I know, requirements, who's eligible, all of that information will
That'd
come
be
back and
nice.
present to you all. And I think it's another good way too, to not only us taking a look at it, but ways we can figure out how to get that information out to the community for folks who might be needing it.
I think that would be great, yeah.
And goal number 5 is to review anything that may come up. There may be unforeseen human service dollars that become available or policy things that need to be looked at based on what the city leadership needs. And so we were open, that's part of our work plan. And then to continue participating in the DEIB's advisory board meetings, because everything that we do is aligned so closely with the Commission on Equity and the work that they're doing. And we want to make sure that we keep informed of what's happening in the community and these kind of different initiatives so that we can kind of keep our program in line with where the community is moving. So yeah, that's the commission work plan for 2026. Does anybody have any
That's amazing.
Question?
Duties now. I love it.
questions, comments, concerns?
I think we should add 3 or 4 more.
Right? I feel like it will help us have more to do during our monthly meetings. And I think that I'm gonna feel a little bit more involved in doing this work plan. I love it.
I agree. Yeah, the regional, the advisory board meeting was really great. Michelle, that's all you have for that?
Yeah, do you want to approve the work plan? Could you?
I make a motion to approve the Human Services Commission work plan as outlined in today's meeting.
Second.
Just really quickly, so it's recommending the approval to
Yeah,
the council. I think that's all captured. If that's
yep, you can,
the intent, Tiffany.
yeah, if you can read it, go ahead.
What?
Uh,
I'm sorry, what were you asking me?
It says we're just gonna move to recommend that the city council, the 2026
The red, I can go with red.
Human Services Work Plan as presented.
I move to recommend to the city council the 2026 Human Services Work Plan as presented.
And we have a second. So we will take an official vote on that. All right, so all those in favor to approve the plan as presented, aye.
I
Aye.
All those opposed? Great, so our commission does move to recommend to the city council for the 2026 Human Services Work Plan as presented. And John, is this your first official meeting?
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know if everybody has had a chance to meet John yet. I'm assuming he's been confirmed by the council now, or else he wouldn't be here. He was at our DEIB, what was that? The regional. Before he was officially appointed to our commission, and we're super excited. John, if you just want to introduce yourself real quick and let everybody know who you are, because we haven't met everybody here yet.
So I have been a resident of Lacey since 1973, so kind of an old timer. And excuse me, married a couple of kids, and they're no longer kids. But yeah, professional background, was in the not-for-profit sector for 40 years. I'm retired now. So yeah, served on various city boards, community boards.
Yeah. And
We can add an introduction to John in the April meeting too.
That'd be good.
So we can get Lester and
Angela.
Angelina to meet him, and we can all share kind of our background,
Okay.
like we did for Jennifer.
yeah,
When Jennifer started.
I just didn't want
Yeah,
to feel like,
acknowledge.
hey, who's this guy sitting here?
Exactly.
By the way, John's on our commission and
Welcome, John.
Yes,
We're
welcome.
glad you're here.
has a ton of experience with the nonprofit, and I know he's gonna have a ton of good recommendations and be a good addition to our commission. So, all right, so with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting of the Human Services. Yeah, absolutely.
Michelle?
Yes.
So Michelle, why is it important for this committee to understand what the Equity Commission is doing?
Why is it important? Because the work that we do intersects. So there's intersectionality between kind of their work plan and our work plan. So as we're developing our strategies and our community engagement strategies and the things that we're working on, we look to also the Commission on Equity to give us advice and things like that. So when I have new policies or new programs, typically I'll not only present to Commission, but also Commission on Equity to make sure that we're kind of in alignment. So we don't want to be going off in kind of different directions. Does that make sense?
I would just add too, I think what we heard from Commissioner over here at the beginning of the meeting was, some of the presentations that are provided across the board is really helpful for everybody to hear and understand in their own kind of responsibilities as advisory boards to the city council. So we had, for example, United Way come in and talk about just kind of where we are as a community with, it was the Alice report, which is about, kind of asset limited individuals here in the community. And so just getting that perspective of, hey, this is what's going on. Here's, some kind of potential things that this group should look at, but also the Commission on Equity could also be looking at to help community members. When we got the Alice report, just as an example, I think one of the things that highlighted, as was recognized over here, was access to childcare, right? And that's something that I think this body, as they're looking at their work, wants to consider. And then also when we're talking about like Commission on Equity, there could be some nexus to some of the work that's being done there as well.
So Michelle, do you attend the Equity Commission meetings as well?
I do as needed. So I'm not there every single month.
Okay.
But if we have things that we need to bring forward and we want to get community input, especially from different cultural groups and different communities that we don't have at the table here, it's a great resource to the city to present to Commission on Equity. And oftentimes leadership like the council will say, did you bring this to the Commission on Equity also? Have you talked to them?
Sean, appreciate that, getting clarification on that. It's definitely needed. So yeah, any other comments, concerns, questions? Dahlia, are you good?
I'm good. Welcome, John, Dahlia.
And we'll do, I guess, a formal introduction, and we have hopefully all the commission members here next month. All right, great. So we'll just go ahead and adjourn this meeting of the City of Lacey's Human Services Commission for Thursday, March 5th. And the time is 6:16.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Dahlia.
Bye.
Bye, Dahlia. Thanks.